In this video, I will be walking viewers through the various features and functionality of Zerbrig Advanced Playblast. Of note, the steps for installing the software and setting up FFmpeg have been covered in other videos available in the documentation. This video will focus entirely on general usage. To begin, I will open the UI by clicking on the Zerbrig Advanced Playblast shelf button. And the first time the UI is opened, all of the settings will be at their defaults. However, any changes made to the various settings will persist between Maya sessions. Ideally, the goal is to allow users to configure the Playblast and shot mask options in such a way that it minimizes the need to make any changes between subsequent Playblasts or shots. The UI itself is dockable and compatible with Maya workspaces. For example, I can group it with the attribute editor and channel box in the Maya Classic workspace, while keeping it hidden or positioned elsewhere in other workspaces. So if I jump back to Maya Classic, it will be restored in its docked position. Taking a closer look at the UI, it consists of 3 tabs, grouping the options for each of Playblast, Shot Mask, and Settings. There are also 3 large buttons at the bottom of the UI that are always displayed. Shot Mask, which toggles the display of the shot mask. Playblast, which, as the name implies, creates a playblast for the selected camera. And finally, the small button at the far right with 3 dots on it. This opens the Batch Playblast dialog, which allows the user to select multiple cameras to be playblasted. So if I select all 4 cameras and click the Playblast button, a separate Playblast is created for each selection, with the camera name appended to the file name. And I can show this by opening up the output directory, and here you can see those 4 files which have been created, and you can see that the camera name for each has been added to the end of the file name. Stepping through each of the Playblast options, at the very top is the output directory. This is the path to the directory where the final output is saved. The first button to the right of it opens a dialog to select the output directory, while the second button opens the current location in Explorer or Finder if you're on a Mac. Below the output directory is the output file name, and this is simply the name of the file without the extension. The extension will be set by the encoding option. If either of these fields is empty, the default value is used, which is currently visible by the placeholder text. Looking closer at this placeholder text, there are several tags in use. Tags are identified by the curly braces that surround them, and they are resolved in code to display different values depending on the text inside the curly braces. For example, the project tag resolves to the current project directory that is set in Maya. The scene tag for the file name resolves to the file name of the current scene, minus the extension. A variety of these tags are available for both the Playblast output and shot mask labels, and quick access to all of the field's supported tags is available through a right-click context menu. By right-clicking on the output directory, a list of tags is displayed. For the output directory, these tags include the project directory and the temp directory. And when one of these tags is selected, it is inserted into the field. Of note, in order to use the temp tag, a temporary directory path needs to be set in the Settings tab. Right-clicking on the output file name, there are two tags available. One is for the scene, and this is the file name of the current scene, minus the extension. And there's also a tag for a timestamp. And in most cases, using this will give you a unique Playblast name. Finishing up the output options, the last item is a checkbox labeled Force Overwrite. If this is disabled, and the output file already exists, the Playblast will fail. When it is enabled, if the output file already exists, it will be automatically overwritten. Moving down to the Playblast Options section, Camera is the view that will be playblasted, so you can select the active viewport or any of the currently available cameras. Resolution is the output resolution of the Playblast. And here there's options to use the render settings resolution and a small handful of presets or a custom value, which can be set manually. The frame range is the range of frames to be playblasted, and presets include animation, playback, and render ranges, or again, you can specify a custom frame range. The encoding options allow you to specify the output container, either MP4, MOV, or image if you'd prefer to create an image sequence. The encoder is currently set for H.264, and that's for both MP4 and MOV files. And there's also a small number of settings, although the defaults should be more than suitable for most cases. The visibility options control what nodes are displayed in the Playblast, and it can be left set to match the current viewport. There's also an option for geo or geometry, so that'll show polygons and NURB surfaces, and there's also one for dynamics. Additionally, by clicking the Customize button, the display types can be set manually. As for the remaining option checkboxes, these determine whether or not ornaments are displayed, whether or not overscan is kept. Most likely, you'll want to keep this one disabled. There is also a checkbox that controls whether or not the shot mask will be added, and this will override the current selected camera in the shot mask section. And finally, show in viewer. When this is checked, the final Playblast will be opened in the designated viewer. The Playblast tab also includes a logging window that captures all of the Playblast output, and this output can optionally be passed to the script editor by enabling the Log to Script Editor checkbox. Looking next at the Shot Mask tab, most of this should be straightforward, and if the shot mask is visible, any changes here will be automatically updated on the displayed shot mask. One quick note about the display of the shot mask in the viewport: it is fitted to the resolution gate based on the render settings, and it may not always show up in a viewport depending on the shape of that viewport and the film fit camera settings. turning on the resolution gate will introduce overscan and bring it into view, regardless of that viewport's shape. As for the shot mask settings, the camera determines which viewport or viewports the shot mask will be displayed on. By default, this is set to all cameras, although you can select any of the individual cameras. Although, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is overridden by the Playblast's shot mask checkbox. Moving down to the labels section, the shot mask has 6 distinct sections for displaying text or images. And, as with the Playblast output fields, there are a number of tags that can be used for dynamic data. Again, simply right-clicking on a label field will display a list of all the tags. Quickly walking through this list, there's the scene name. This is the file name of the current scene, minus the extension. Frame counter, which will add a frame counter to the shot mask. Camera name displays the Playblast camera. Focal length adds the focal length of that camera to the shot mask. Logo displays an image on the shot mask that's been defined in the settings section, and I'll be going over this a little later. Image is similar to logo, except it allows you to specify the image path in the tag itself. And then there's username and date. Taking a moment to focus on the image tag, it's unique in that it requires the image path to be included. To demonstrate, I'm going to add an image tag, and then I'm going to replace this placeholder text with the path to an image. And for me, this is just going to be d:/sandbox/logo.png. And you'll notice there's no quotes on the path. When I hit enter, in the top right-hand corner, you can see that my image has been added. If this was an invalid image or an invalid path, it will display the text image not found. And then when I fix that path, it goes back to displaying the correct image. Another feature of the shot mask labels is the ability to divide a section into two by using the pipe character. This is the vertical line that shares the / key. Here I've created a mask with the camera name and focal length in the top left corner, and the shot name and animator in the bottom left corner. By using the pipe character, I can stack 2 details in a single section. As for the remaining shot mask sections, they are fairly self-explanatory. The text section controls the font, color, alpha, and scale of the foreground text. And just a quick note on fonts, you may have to test out several fonts since some of them don't look very good when applied to the shot mask. Moving down to the border section, this controls the border visibility, so you can toggle the top and bottom borders. You can also control the color, alpha, and scale of these borders. And then finally the counter section, which only has one option at the moment, and that is the padding, so the number of digits displayed by the frame counter. Moving on to the final tab, Settings. This is reserved for ZurBrig Advanced Playblast General Settings. The most important setting here is the path to FFmpeg. It is required for encoding playblasts, and there is a separate guide for downloading and setting this up. The second field sets the path for the temp tag, which is used by the Playblast's output directory field. In the shot mask section, there is a similar field, logo path, and this sets the path to the image used by the logo tag. If this is not set and you try to use the logo tag, you will get an image not found message on the shot mask. Now, on a side note, each of these three paths can be set using an environment variable, and that's suitable for pipeline use. As for the Playblast and shot mask reset buttons, these simply restore the default values in their respective sections. For those with a little programming experience, it is possible to add, remove, and edit some of the existing presets, for example, resolution and visibility, and custom tags can be implemented for each of the output directory, file name, and shot mask labels. This is accomplished by editing the Zurbrigg Advanced Playblast presets Python file. That being said, it is considered an advanced subject and will not be covered in this video. Wrapping up, Zurbrigg Advanced Playblast is designed to simplify and streamline the playblasting process. Ideally, through the use of tags, it should be possible to use the same Playblast and shot mask settings for every shot, leaving more time to spend animating.